What's a scary or disturbing fact that keeps you up at night? You could have a brain aneurysm with zero symptoms. Any day it could rupture and kill you from significant blood loss. Happened to my mom's friend right in front of her. The seemingly perfectly healthy woman died at 40 without warning during a work trip and while having drinks with her friends. One second she was laughing. The next second she was on the ground. Never woke up again. My poor mom was the one that had to call her husband and kids. The serial killer Richard Chase would try random houses to break into. If the door was unlocked, he saw it as being an invitation. If it was locked, he saw it as a sign that he was unwelcome. When swimming in stagnant water you could inhale an amoeba which eats its way through your nose and then eats your brainstem. People who sleep less than 6 hours a night are at an increased risk to die prematurely, thank God. When an autopsy is performed, the organs are removed, weighed, sliced and placed into a plastic bag. This includes the brain and tongue. Once they are finished, they put everything together in the plastic bag and place it in the chest cavity. So when you're buried, your brain is actually in your chest. Super fun fact. Embalming is not required by law in most states, nor are those fancy, overpriced caskets, etc. The funeral industry in the US is a huge racket that preys on grieving folks. Please check out and consider a green burial. More and more natural cemeteries are being created every day. This is absolutely true. However, in many cases if a viewing is going to be held, it's the policy of the funeral home to embalm. It ensures safety, cleanliness and allows us far more control to ensure a pleasant experience. Cancer is extremely common. You likely have cancer right now. The only things stopping you from going terminal are your immune system and more cancer. That's right. Cancer can get cancer that kills the cancer. Someday, one last person will remember you for the last time, and from that day forward, no one ever will. It takes 22 pounds of pressure to pop a testicle. You probably already escaped death or serious injury in your lifetime by simply being in the right place at the right time. One time I was sick at home for about 3 weeks. At some point my throat hurt so much that eating bread without crust and Nutella is painful enough to make me cry. We call our doctor to visit. About half an hour in he says, "When I leave you guys go to the hospital." Not 10 minutes after, not even 5 minutes. "When I leave you do too." Ended up staying in the hospital for 10 days with blood poisoning and streptococcus. Doctor told me if I were a day later I'd probably be dead. And that they'd called around one of the best hospitals in our country because they had no clue what to do with me. This was before my diagnosis. On average, you will walk past 36 murderers in your lifetime. Hopefully the next time you do go past one, they'll say, "No, not that one. Too good looking." If you compress the time from the Big Bang to the present in a single year, then the 1st of January the Big Bang occurred. The 10th of January the first star was born. The 13th of January first small galaxy. The 15th of March the Milky Way formed. But not the Sunday. The 31st of August the sun was born. That's approximately 4.5 billion years ago. The Earth was born from a disk of gas and dust orbiting the newborn Sunday. Repeated collisions produced a glowing ball. The Earth was quite unstable in the beginning. But, the 21st of September life began. 3.5 billion years ago. The 9th of November life was breathing, moving, eating. We owe a lot to those early microbes. They invented sexual reproduction. The 17th of December life came from water to land. The 28th of December the first flower blossomed. 6:24 AM. The 30th of December an asteroid hit Earth and wiped out dinosaurs that could endanger the survival of Homo sapiens on Earth. 60 million years ago. For the first time in the history of the universe, the conditions were just good enough for humans. 11 hours, 59 minutes, and 46 seconds PM. The 31st of December. All recorded history occupies these last 14 seconds. We learned how to cultivate crops, tame animals, astronomy, mathematics, and painting. About 13 seconds ago. We invented writing. Moses was born 7 seconds ago. Buddha 6 seconds ago. Jesus 5 seconds ago. Muhammad 3 seconds ago. A second ago, we discovered that the Earth is not the center of the universe, and just when that second was about to finish, we reached the moon. Every person you have ever heard of, met, loved, hated, kissed, and reproduced with, lives in those 14 seconds. You can actually wake up during surgery, but the worst part is that you are still paralyzed, so you can feel everything what they do to you but you can't signal to them that you are conscious. This is one of my worst fears. Actually, if a sedative wears off but a paralytic does not, the only thing you can do is cry. We were taught in school that if your sedated patient cries you done messed up and you need to resedate right away. Addition. In the context of what I was taught paralyzation, there is one warning sign: sedation is wearing off. When watching the patient's CO2 levels while they are breathing, the waveform the monitor creates will get a notch on it from the patient starting to breath against the ventilations they are being given. You have mites in your eyelashes. Oh, I know all about this. Ever since I was a kid, I have had the sensation that an eyelash has dropped into my eye. I am always digging into my eye to get out the eyelashes or crud or whatever. Also, my face is itchy. Allergy to dust mites, mold, house dust, trees, grass, tobacco, etc. So I live with a continually itchy nose. So in my 40s, my optometrist tells me I have Demodex in my eyelashes. She can tell by looking with a huge lens or something. She gets me these eye wipes with tea tree oil. Blefadex, another one is Claridex. The itch disappears after 30 years of itching, so I'm pretty much ecstatic. I try them on the rest of my face. Itch and redness are gone. You can't use straight tea tree oil, it's too strong, but it kills Demodex, whereas a lot of things don't. They live elsewhere on your body, so I don't think you can kill them all. So I have to use my eye wipes a few times a week. Apparently Demodex are part of normal facial flora, but they become overnumerous in some people. Their poop causes irritation. They are associated with rosacea, but it's not a 100% researched thing yet. The one that I remember most often is this one. Either we are completely alone in this universe, or we are not. In the US, if you are the first patient to ever receive that type of implant, or if your implant is part of an alpha study, you have no legal rights to know that. You can flat out ask your doctor and they are allowed to lie to your face and say they've implanted hundreds of these devices before when you're literally the first one. Say what now? Let's say you need spine surgery. The main part of that surgery is putting some hardware, an implant, inside your spine forever. Now this surgeon has probably implanted hundreds of A implants before, but the company he gets his implants from just invented B implants and they need him to implant some patients with B for an alpha study. You were selected as a candidate for the B alpha study. Only your surgeon and the med device company knows that you're the first person to ever receive B implant. You have no rights to know that this is the first ever B implant put inside a person. In fact, if you flat out ask the surgeon, they can tell you it's A implant and you have nothing to worry about. Source: I'm a medical device engineer for one of those med device companies. There is a plant called Indrocnide moroides, also known as Jimpy or the suicide plant. It's mostly found in Australia and has little stinging hairs all over it. When touched, they inject a neurotoxin in your body which hurts so much that most people rather killed themselves than waiting the 1 or 2 days until it gets better. I have the information from another redditor on this sub, and haven't found anything that literally says yeah they killed themselves, but I do believe it's true. Anyway, Ernie Ryder, who got hit by this plant in 1963, said, "For 2 or 3 days the pain was almost unbearable. I couldn't work or sleep. Then it was pretty bad pain for another fortnight or so. The stinging persisted for 2 years and recurred every time I had a cold shower. There's nothing to rival it. It's 10 times worse than anything else." I saw a show segment on these and the locals have a cure now. They keep wax strips handy, like for waxing your leg hair off. The strips pull the little hair-like pain transmitters out of your skin. The host of the show, like an absolute idiot, touched the plant with his finger and he said the pain made him want to throw up. The wax strip made the pain manageable. I was kidnapped as a child and ever since then I always close all blinds in the house as soon as it's sunset because I am still so paranoid after all these years. I constantly think that someone is stalking me. It's uncomfortable. I'm sorry you have to live through that. No one should have to experience such trauma. Sounds horrible. I would suggest seeing a therapist or adopting a pet so that you have someone to keep you company, sane, and maybe even protect you, if you don't have one already. The US and Russia have over 10,000 nuclear warheads pointed at each other right now, ready to launch at a moment's notice. Enough to destroy civilization as we know it many times over. That's something I've never understood. Like, why do we, or them, need so many? I don't know what else we do with the resources but effing something. Otherwise they're gonna keep making movies and games about people stealing nukes. Here's 3. Goats were used as a medieval torture method. Strap someone to a chair for 2 days, with their feet dipped in salt water. Release a goat into the room. The goat will lick the salt of the victim's feet. And since a goat's tongue is super coarse, it will strip the flesh off down to the bone. No pleading, and no mercy. The goat won't care about the screams. In very ancient times, a way of execution was to bend 2 palm trees together, tie someone's ankles to them, and let the palm trees go. They would immediately spring up, ripping the victim in 2. It's better to pick up a human head with 2 hands, because it's as heavy as a bowling ball and the weight is uneven. I'm not sure about picking it up by the hair, because I'm pretty sure it would be slick with blood.